Good morning. Daily Bible reading. Today we come to Genesis chapter 23. Now, in Genesis 22, God has tested Abraham, who, believing that Isaac is the son of promise, as God has told him that God will not allow him to die, that even if Abraham obeys and sacrifices, as God has told him, Isaac on an altar, that God will raise him up again, and has demonstrated his faith. God has reaffirmed his commitment to Abraham that his children will possess the land of Canaan and that he will make nations of them. In Genesis chapter 23, we come to the death of Sarah and the burial of Sarah. Now, the death of Sarah is dealt with very briefly here, whereas the acquisition of a burying place for Sarah is dealt with at great length. Now, Sarah is 107 years old. There's obviously some sort of arrangement that we don't know about here, because Abraham and Sarah appear to be at different places. Maybe Abraham had been on a journey. Maybe he had followed his herdsmen while Sarah stayed in a more settled place. She was, after all, very old. And Sarah died. Abraham wants a burying place. He doesn't own the ground that he grazes his herds on. His wealth is mobile. He lives in tents. He's a nomad. And he wants somewhere to bury Sarah. It is not an unusual impulse in nomads to want to have permanent burying places. If ever you go to the west of Ireland and you see the places where the gypsies bury their dead, often they are very extravagantly appointed, and they clearly take great care over the burial of their dead. It's often an impulse among those who have no settled place of life to bury their dead in a particular place. But in this case, there's more than that, because Abraham has God's promise that his children will possess the land. He probably thinks that it's going to happen much sooner than it actually did in God's plan. He may not have had that revealed to him, but he knows that it's going to happen, and he does not want to have people say that Abraham's children acquired the land through a gift or through the betrayal of a gift. So he negotiates with the people of Hebron for the purchase of a piece of ground, and after a great deal of extravagant politeness and courtesy in the manner of Easterners, they agree to sell him a burying ground. So a lot of very entertaining debate on the internet about how much Abraham actually paid for the field of Hebron, at what it might be worth in today's money. The estimates appear to range from, well, they begin with the price of silver, and 400 shekels of silver, people seem to reckon, comes to about 25 pounds, or about 11.5 kilograms of silver. And at the current retail price, 400 shekels would come out at about $5,000 in today's money, which doesn't seem very much. And then they go into the fact that this is the Bronze Age, and that silver was worth much, much, much more than it is today. And they come up with estimates that run between £120,000 to £6 million. That is to say, they don't know. But they know that Abraham paid the full price that he was asked, and commentators generally suggest that Ephron got his arm into Abraham whenever he had him where he wanted him, and sold him the field at a good solid price. But Abraham acquires a burying place for Sarah, and that burying place will be used in the future for a variety of his descendants. Genesis chapter 23, this is God's word. And Sarah was 127 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, the same as Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah, and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his dead, and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. The children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my lord. Thou art a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulchre, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of sight, hear me, and entreat for me to Ephron the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it to me for a possession of a burying place amongst you. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my lord, hear me. The field give I thee, and the cave that is therein I give it thee. In the presence of the sons of my people give I thee. Bury thy dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it, I pray thee hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it off me, and I will bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham wed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham, for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And the field, the cave that is therein, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth. And we pray God's blessing on this reading from his holy word.